everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pints and Powerbombs here on Milwaukee Beer Review. As always, I'm Josh.
I'm Ross.
I'm Lau. I get to join this time.
We've got Mr. Lau joining us for the first time in this new video series here on the channel. It is Sunday, the 8th of June, the day we are recording this. So it is the day after Money in the Bank 2025. And we are here to talk a little bit about our reactions, what happened, what we think is going to happen next, and also to drink a beer here on Sunday night. So I'll kick it off here. What am I drinking while we do this? It's a dark stout. It's from Milwaukee Brewing Company. I'm doing the 2025 release of Recombobulation. Probably one of my favorite beers they've put out. So good stuff for me tonight.
So I got New Glarus's Gyrator Doppel. It's their Doppel box that they do. I don't know exactly when they release it, but I had one in the fridge. It's a tasty damn beer, so I figure what the hell.
Heck yeah.
I've got a little Central Waters Scotch Ale. The last one I had left in my fridge, and I thought this would be the perfect time to drink it.
There you go.
Good night for it. We're all recovering from the chaos that was Money in the Bank. How do you want to kick this off, Ross?
So we'll just go in match order. So first episode, we had the women's Money in the Bank.
First episode?
First match, whatever. Shut up. It was the women's Money in the Bank match. It was won by Naomi. So how big of a surprise for you guys was Naomi winning? Because I didn't see that one coming. I don't know if you guys kind of felt that, but what are your thoughts on Naomi winning it?
I did not see that happening, but I admittedly haven't been watching a lot of the TV shows since WrestleMania, but after she lost to Cargill at WrestleMania, I don't know why they're now giving her seemingly a push.
I said to Jen, I made my wife watch Money in the Bank with me last night. She somewhat reluctantly agreed. Well, she sat on her phone most of the night. I said when Naomi came out, I said, I have this weird suspicion that she's going to win this match because it feels like there's been this like underlining push for her. Like she's been prominent, but she hasn't won. And I feel like they keep putting her out there and they're getting her involved in these feuds. So I wasn't shocked. I was still a little surprised. I thought maybe they would let Rhea win this because that'd be a unique thing for her. They're kind of pushing the Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley thing right now too. I thought they might go that route. I think it wouldn't have made sense for Alexa Bliss unless they're really going to go down the Wyatt Six path with her and like maybe bring a title into that fold with Money in the Bank or something. I don't know, but I like Naomi, but I'm like not blown away by Naomi, I guess. Like I'm not like nothing about her persona or character excites me really. It just feels part of the pack to me.
Yeah, I think I do like Naomi. I think this heel run's kind of a good like twist for her because she doesn't really. I don't know if I've ever seen her in a heel run. Maybe she has. But it kind of gives it new life and everything. But you know, they kind of set it up throughout the whole match as about like this veteran group versus like the new three and everything. I thought that was kind of cool. They kept kind of alluding to that. So that's, I guess, I was kind of surprised. They kept leaning into that a lot, and you thought, okay, here's a chance. Let's get one of these new three. So, you know, looking at that, do you think maybe they should have gone with one of the new three, or was the Naomi? Is it too early to tell? But if they're going to go with one of the new three, who would you have wanted to have seen win those three?
I feel like if they were going to go with one of the three of the new ones, it had to be Stephanie Bakar. How do you say her last name?
I think Bakar. I think that's right.
Bakar. I mean, she got a huge pop when she was climbing up the ladder at one point. Like she was the only one on the ladder, and she was up there, and the crowd was going nuts.
What I will say, and I don't think the new women should have won it. I think it should have been one of the three because it's going to make the actual Money in the Bank play, I think, a little bit more polished. Well, what I will say, though, is that the women's division is on fire right now. Like, I feel like there is so much talent there. They're all really, really good. And you get people like Alexa Bliss coming back and like adding some additional pop to the women's division. Like, it's a pretty rock solid group right now. Becky's back. You got Charlotte back. You've got like all this like there's a really good mix too of like young talent and like established talent too. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with some of that.
It is, and not that I was watching it a ton back when this happened, but it feels very much like when Becky, Charlotte, and I can't think of her name, were coming out of NXT and coming in, and Bailey were coming through, and kind of the passing of the guard from that AJ Lee, not Natalia, but that whole phase and everything, from the diva into the modern one. It feels like that's coming. It feels like kind of Rhea. I know Rhea was kind of established as one of the established ones, but she still is kind of leading that charge with Roxanne, Julia, Lyra. This whole new group coming through is pretty cool. I hope they get some good storylines. That's I think it's the one thing missing from the women's side is solid storyline and good writing and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, really to wrap this up, who does Naomi cash in on, and when? When does it happen?
Is there the possibility that we see what's her face? The
Jade?
Yeah, we see Jade with a belt that Naomi cashes in on her. Or does Naomi cash in on whoever else is the champion at that time and then Jade takes her shot? I don't know.
So here's the thing I'll say is one thing I kept saying, and I kept really making a point of it throughout, was like 100% of the time when the women cashes in, they win the belt.
Yeah.
And is this an opportunity for her to cash in and Jade interfere and screw it over?
Yeah. Because that feud's not done. They've been still pouring gasoline on that thing.
It would be cool if Jade somehow got a belt and Naomi cashed in on her. I don't know. I'm out of the loop with the storylines, if there is any, with Naomi and the two champions, and I don't know where they're going to go with that. I feel like she's going to hold on to the belt or the case for a while.
I will say that's one kind of unique thing with Naomi winning is that I don't think there is a clear path who she cashes in on. I think it does kind of open the door a bit. And I think to your point, Lau, they can let her hang on to that bit to kind of tease it here and there and let the storyline make the determining factor. More than likely, they have a plan already in place. But, that'll be – again, I think Naomi was a surprise. I'm not disappointed, though, at the same time. So I thought it was kind of cool to have her win.
I like her new heel gimmick. I thought she was going to win at WrestleMania, and she ended up not, which I think is weird coming on the heels of this win.
Yeah, we talked about that when we did the recap on that. I just don't see how if you have Jade lose that match, she's buried.
She's done. Yeah.
So
that's fair.
All right. Next match. I think we can move through this one pretty quick. The somewhat impromptu Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. I think overall fun. Dom won the match. I don't think it was very much a surprise. Any thoughts on this at all?
I'm excited to see the new Lucha Libre folks kind of blend into WWE. I think it's going to add an additional flair and pop. I mean, they've been doing a little bit more of it with some of, bringing in Penta and, Rey Mysterio's kind of on his way out. The LWO thing has kind of fizzled. Selena Vega's doing her own thing and she's rocking it. Like, she's awesome. I think it's good timing for all of that. I just don't know, and I'm not invested in any of them, but I appreciate what they can do from an in-ring talent perspective. I think that match last night showcased that too. Sounds good.
It was a pretty cool match. They got to do something with Dom. They either need to get the crowd back against him or turn him face.
Nah, they're doing a great job with him right now. He's the perfect, people want to hate him, but you love him at the same time. And he's so good with the crowd and with the fans outside the stadium. They've got him in this kind of niche place right now where it's he sucks, but he's also awesome. He's an asshole, but he's also hilarious. It's just,
they leave him there.
It's a good spot for him, I think.
It kind of reminds me of WCW Chris Jericho. He was always such an arrogant prick. But he was good in ring, and you just liked him because he was so funny and so good on the mic, and he just leans into it so well. I do like what you said about bringing the Lucha Libres and the new blood with maybe Rey Fenix Jr. and Penta. Grande Americano, like all these great lucha libres coming in. Okay.
I do love, and you say that. Well, actually, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next match, we had Lyra Valkyria losing to Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title. Real quick, let's go through them. What's next for Lyra? What happens from here on? Is this feud over, or is this just continuing to build at this point? Because this is now the third or fourth match for them, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like this feud needs to be over. I think it's time to move on. Becky, I don't know what Becky continues to do in this kind of heel role that she's carved out. Like, does she continue to be a heel? She was kind of an a-hole to Lyra at the end of the match, too. Like, put the belt around my waist thing. That was interesting. So I think she's going to hold that, but I also think Lyra probably needs to move on to something else because that storyline's a little bit old at this point. I like Lyra. I think she's another really good addition to that group, and she's fun. She's really good in the ring. And Becky, they needed to give that belt to Becky though, because Becky is going to take it to the next level. And then that belt is so new. They need a rock star with that belt just to kind of elevate it a little bit and make it more prominent. Not that Lyra couldn't do that, but she's still so new that I don't know that it doesn't have the same name to it until you have someone like Becky Lynch holding it and make it a real target.
I think they have another match. This time Becky probably actually wins it instead of with a pull up of the tights or something. Like wins it clean.
Clean win. Yeah,
Maybe.
I could see them doing another match. I would like to see them move on if I had a choice on it, because I want to see Lyra maybe have a rivalry with. Maybe she does like a tag team thing, and maybe she goes after the tag team titles with someone else. And I think, Josh, you hit the nail on the head. You were going to say exactly what I was going to say. Is Becky's going to be able to really legitimize the IC belt in the women's side. As much as Lyra's doing a good job, she's still so new. Now you can't have Becky come in, maybe take on a Bayley, maybe take on, Roxanne Perez type storyline or something like that, and actually have a real good story moving forward. So I think it was good. I kind of felt Becky was going to win. That kind of seemed like the right move. So
I'm already hearing the Bayley rumors about Bayley and Becky, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I think Becky's, she's gonna want another run for one of these women's championships. She's not gonna hold the IC title for super long.
Is Bayley still part of WWE? She's still
yes,
yeah.
She is.
Okay, I just remember I wasn't sure if they released her or not after the whole thing.
I saw something that she was going to take more of like a creative role as opposed to an in-ring role, but we'll see. I think she's still got plenty of in-ring left in her. So
yeah.
All right. Men's Money in the Bank. First and foremost, did y'all see Andrade get hit in the nuts with the ladder? I
did not catch that.
Like they called him out, like McAfee and everything, having a fun time with it. Like I think it was Gable throwing the ladder down, and he was laying in the hall and just nailed him right square. So,
I do. I think one of my favorite things about. No, anyway, no. Sorry, I'll get to it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, all right. So first, Rollins wins it. You have LA Knight, who hasn't gotten that push yet. You have Penta, who's been a rising star. You have kind of everyone wanting Gable to get that push. Was Rollins the right decision? Sorry, Grande Americano.
Okay.
Was Rollins the right decision, and are they doing a disservice burying some of the other individuals in that group?
You know who they're doing a disservice to burying right now? It's Braun Breaker. Why has he been relegated to being just a little henchman for Seth Rollins?
We just had this conversation a couple weeks ago on this in this episode series. Like, I agree with that commentary. Like, I don't understand why he's a henchman all of a sudden, and he's like second fiddle to Seth Rollins. Like, I don't think it's that cool. I just don't. It doesn't even make sense. Like, what they're doing with those three and then Seth Rollins winning this, it's like, okay, we know Seth Rollins is going to end up with a title shot of some kind. It's going to likely be against it's well, I want to say it's likely going to be against John Cena, but
I think it's going to be Jay
probably Jay
or whoever holds that belt.
Yes, and I just like who's the guy that just came back? He's shattered his
Bronson
Reed.
Yeah, Bronson Reed. Like, how are they? They haven't even attempted to fix the story of Bronson Reed literally just pummeling the crap out of Seth Rollins like 6 months ago, relentlessly, and then he just comes back and it's like, well, are we supposed to believe that Seth Rollins was like, oh man, you crushed me, I want you to be part of my group now? Like, is that what we're supposed to take from that? It's just a weird combo. Like, it doesn't. I don't. There's nothing passionate about what the three of them are doing, and it feels like they're really trying to make that go, and it just isn't landing with the three of them.
I agree with
and Paul Heyman is stuck in this thing, and like he was so prominent for the last couple of years with the Bloodline. He was getting full on speaking parts, off camera stuff. Like, he was a huge part of telling the story of the blood. What story is he telling right now with Seth Rollins?
I guess we'll find out.
Like, why?
Question mark.
Like, and maybe they tie it all back in, right? And I hope they do, because there's something that's going to happen with Punk and Rollins here still too, and blah, blah, blah. Now we're going way off script here, but like, I'm not a huge fan of Seth winning it, because he's going to end up in these matches anyways, because that's what they're pushing. So why? Like, why?
Yeah. And I guess that's what I was really trying to get to. Is that right there at the end? I'm ignoring all the other nonsense you guys went off script on, but so it's exactly that. Is we knew Seth Rollins doesn't need this contract to be in the storylines. So this is the third year in a row LA Knight's been in the Money in the Bank, hasn't won. Penta is maybe the hottest superstar, one of the hotter guys in the WWE right now. He isn't win. It's odd. I'm okay Solo not winning. Like, I don't care about Solo Sikoa. I'm okay Andrade. Andrade was there for some good spots. And Andrade's entertaining as shit. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but and I felt that's where Americana was there too, and mainly for spots more than anything else. There's some really good spots too.
Maybe my favorite spot of the night when he did the 3 ladder thing to get into the ring. That was
sweet.
Dude, that LA Knight backdrop that he did off to him, that was I did not see LA Knight doing a move like that. That was really
good. That was impressive.
So who did you want to win? Let me ask that question. Who would you have rather have won?
I wanted Grande Americano to win because it's just so stupid. It's entertaining.
I mean,
we're gonna go if they're gonna push it. Do it.
I do want to see Chad Gable take another step. He needs a legitimate push. This feels like really wonky what they're doing with him. It's fun, it's entertaining, but they're clearly bringing it to some form of a climax here, because like they're not even hiding it. He was literally, Chad Gable was wearing a El Grande Americano is numero uno shirt the other day in an interview. It's like, okay, dude, like, he was wearing, they called it out on the broadcast last night that El Grande was wearing Chad Gable's boots with the CG on the boots. They're like, he borrowed those because he forgot his boots when he came to the, okay.
I love how hard McAfee and the other announcer were trying to sell that Grande Americano is not Chad Gable.
It's so entertaining to me because it's just dumb. But
I did think if they did Americano winning it, and I think you and I talked about something similar like this, or maybe we talked this a while ago. It's like the idea that Americano wins it, Gable cashes in, but it's voided because Gable didn't win the contract. Americano is like that. So I thought that'd be kind of a fun route. Bloodline. Do we still care about the Bloodline? The Fatu Solo Sikoa thing finally?
I mean, I'm glad to see Fatu turn on Solo, though. Like, I mean, that was coming. Like, you could tell the last month that eventually was happening, but they finally did it, which was good.
It's good that finally happened, and that guy is gonna move on, and hopefully Fatu can get his own kind of story.
Yeah. kind of wrap this one up. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, so depending on what time this airs, this may have already happened or not, we do have Jey Uso and Gunther going at it. Does Rollins cash in tomorrow night?
Oh, man. Wouldn't that be something?
I thought Rollins was going to cash in last night. With that tag match being not the main event, with that tag match being the main event, I thought Rollins was cashing in with
They
both
don't
of
want
them.
that. Yeah, it could have been either of them, yeah, I suppose.
But I don't think Rollins cashes in tomorrow.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea. That's an interesting thought, though.
Did you see the spear that Chad Gable took, or that El Grande Americano took from Breaker? Thought he died. Anyways.
That running jumping spear Breaker does outside the ring is it's such a cool move.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
It's too bad he's not doing it for himself anymore. And also, by the way, props to Penta on the Penta driver on the ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty slick too.
Yeah, there's the Money in the Bank, both men and women. There's always cool spots. It's always just entertaining. It's fun.
Jen was asking me last night. She's like, okay, so like we watch Royal Rumble and like I understand like the gimmick of like that pay-per-view. Like, what's the deal with this? I'm like, there's ladders and a bunch of people in the ring and crazy stuff happens in both of these matches. Like, you just never know. Like, it's
the double code reds in the women's match were nuts.
Yeah. I think it's turned into one of my more entertaining PLEs out there.
It is. The last thing on this match. Where was Punk? Like, what? Why didn't Punk show up at all?
I don't know.
I feel like I don't know what they're doing with the Punk storyline. I don't know if I thought he'd be in this match and he's not. Like,
he's been a huge part of the broadcasts, though. Like the last several months, he's been a huge part of it.
Which seems like it's weird that he just wasn't here at all.
I think they've got a place they plan on plugging him hard, and I'm guessing it's Seth Rollins. And maybe it is something crazy like Seth Rollins cashes in tomorrow night, takes the belt off Jay. That sets up SummerSlam, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman on the other side.
I personally think it's the long game. They're setting up Rollins Punk for WrestleMania. I really do. I know I see your eyes roll out. And it's like that's a long time away.
It feels like a long time away.
Triple H does this. He does these long, drawn-out storylines. He can throw some tag team stuff in there in between to kind of get us there, and then we get to Survivor Series and War Games to kind of help bridge that gap. But
Roman is still hanging on to this thing in there somewhere too.
Yeah.
Like, where does he fit in? Like, I could see the Punk Rollins thing happening at SummerSlam, and then maybe it's Roman and Rollins next year at Mania.
Yeah, I don't know. So, all right.
Anyways,
main event. We had Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes beating Cena and Paul thanks to some help. So let's just get right into that. Is the R-Truth return? Was that fun? Was that dumb? What are our thoughts?
Awesome.
Was it dumb fun?
It wasn't even dumb. It was awesome.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Like, I don't know. Like,
disagree, Ross.
No, I don't disagree at all. I unfortunately, because I wasn't able to watch it last night, I had to watch it today. And me scrolling through Twitter, I actually saw the spoiler of it. So I was like, oh, man. So there's something that ruined for me. But
I was not surprised, but also surprised by it. Like, when I watched it happen live, as soon as the guy came out of the crowd, I was like, that's got to be R-Truth. Like, there's no... Yeah. Because I was kind of, it was in the back of my head, like, maybe that could happen. But, like, I don't know. They made him being out of WWE feel very, very legit for the last week. Like,
it might have been legit. It could have just been negotiations broke down. And, like, for all we know.
Maybe.
Somebody asked
Maybe, but man, that was perfect. Like, what happened, like, it feels like it had to have been planned before.
Somebody asked Triple H that on the post game or the press conference afterwards, and he just kind of smiled and said, "That's a great question. It's all part of the show. Are you enjoying it?"
Yeah, right.
Good answer.
What take for that? What you think it means?
Mm-hmm.
Overall, though, all right, moving past, what are your thoughts on the match? Just thoughts on the match. Are we happy with the results?
Any match with Cena has been slow and kind of methodical, and that's just what we're going to get from these matches these days.
So I missed the Cena era, like when I started watching WWE again. Like I stopped right before that and then restarted really post Cena era.
Me too.
Was the AA like a legitimate finisher in the past? Did it look cooler? Did it look more lethal? Because right now all it looks like he's doing is dropping the guy to the ground. There's no force behind it. It doesn't look like a legitimate finisher, and he's making it look worse than it was before. Like
the one of the bigger knocks on Cena throughout his entire career was his limited moveset. He didn't have a great moveset. He's not a 17-time champion because he does spectacular in-ring work. He's one of the best storytellers of all time and is able to get himself into these situations. So him now breaking down physically as he gets older, he still moves pretty fucking fantastic for what, 50 years old, whatever the hell he is?
47.
47. I can barely move and I'm younger than him. So I'm not trying to knock him in any way, but his moveset was already limited. Now he can move less, and it's even more limited. He like even him hitting someone in the head with a belt looks horrible. All three times he's done, it's like he like pulls back right at the end. Like he's just his in-ring work is terrible. And I thought the contrast between him and Paul was interesting because say we want about Paul, the dude's probably one of the better in-ring workers right now out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's flying all over the place, and then you get C in there, and the match just comes to a halt.
Yeah.
The pacing of the match was off, and I wasn't overly entertained by it. I don't know.
They're really trying. And unfortunately, I think the reality is we don't see this belt change hands until late this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be late.
Yeah.
So one thing we kind of talked about is we have coming up in, I think October, is the Night of Champions. So we know Cena's going to be there. And we talked kind of about when is Rollins going to cash in this and that. Who do we want to see Cena face as the other title holder on the red brand? Like, who do we want the Raw champion to be when that comes around? Is it Rollins at that point? Does he cash in that night on the loser of Cena, whoever?
You're talking Crown Jewel match, right?
Huh? Crown Jewel. What did I say?
You said Night of Champions.
Oh, sorry. Crown Jewel.
Punk would be cool.
So Punk somehow getting off of Jay before then?
Or getting it off of Rollins at SummerSlam.
Okay. No.
Does that matter? Because the title doesn't change hands in that match.
It doesn't change hands. But it's what we want to see because we know Cena's going to be there and he can't move. So who do we want him to face? We're so far away from that. Maybe it's not that we're talking about.
I'd like him to face Gunther and have Gunther just freaking slap him across the chest for 25 minutes straight.
I am going to put money on it saying Cena has said, hey, this is my retirement. I do not want to get chopped by Gunther on the way out. Do not have me face Gunther.
Probably.
We talked about the cash-in thing later this year. It would be interesting for Cena to stay heel the whole time and like on the night where he's like, I'm out, it's coming with me. Later, he's walking to the back,
have somebody cash
the belt, and he gets cashed in on. Boom. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
But I still don't believe that he's going to walk out of here a heel. I mean, you saw like this like foreshadowing glimpse of it with R-Truth a couple of weeks ago, where he like didn't hit R-Truth over the head with the belt during the match. He did eventually do it, but like there was this pause, this like almost like human pause that he gave. I feel like was a foreshadowing to him like coming to his senses at some point and like going back to a face.
That'll be an interesting off ramp if they decide to do it.
So, kind of going back to Cena then also, like during the match, you saw the tension and the disorganization with him and Paul. Are we going to see Cena Paul soon? Is that going to be a match like SummerSlam? Is that coming?
Be kind of a fun match.
Would it?
I don't know.
Can you imagine? I think Paul having to slow down and wait for Cena to catch up, and just seeing Paul being forced to kind of methodically move through a match. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
You don't think Cena's willing to take a moonsault through the announce table?
no,
Announcer's table?
I don't. I think he'll roll out, hit him over the head with the belt, and then win. That's what's gonna happen. So, Josh, you kind of alluded to it, and you kind of said it all right. The last question I wanted to end with is, where's Roman? Where is Roman? When are we going to see him again? And what storyline does he play a role in? Because he is oddly absent. It's been oddly quiet from him now for a couple of months.
He does this every year. He did it last year too.
Again,
He's gonna pop up before SummerSlam, and that's where I think we start. Maybe the first time we see him is at SummerSlam, and he comes in and interferes. There's gonna be this Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, CM Punk thing is not done. That's what's coming back to drive him because the bloodline's done. That's over.
Yeah.
Okay. So overall, closing thoughts on Money in the Bank. What do you think? Good event? Anything?
You know what's going to happen? Here's my prediction. Just going to give it right now. I love your thought about Seth cashing in tomorrow night on Jay, winning it. They're going to go into SummerSlam. Jay's going to get a rematch against Seth. And Roman's going to come out and interfere in that match. And Jay's going to get disqualified. That's what's going to happen.
Interesting.
All right.
Then Jay's going to be pissed at him again. He's going to be pissed at Seth. There's the Paul Heyman thing and the CM Punk thing. A lot of different directions you can go with all that.
Good stuff.
All right. I thought it was a fun PLE. I mean, it's always a good one when you have the two Money in the Bank matches. It just makes it fun. I'm not sure on the Seth Rollins winning it decision, and the rest of the matches were really good. The women's one was probably the best match of the night.
I think, I would agree. I think the women's match is the best. And I think the thing that's exciting is between Lyra, Julia, Roxanne, and Stephanie Vicar, you're seeing that next generation of those women coming through, and there's more of them coming. That's not just them. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of get that new blood in there with some of the established stars. I think of the women. I think the women's, Josh, you kind of talked about this a lot earlier. I think there's a lot of really exciting things in the women's division right now. I think there's a lot of good directions they could go. Again, it's just they need good storylines. They really just need some good storylines and kind of, go with them. So, all right. Good stuff. Good conversation. What were you going to say?
I said this was fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. We still managed to make this almost a 30-minute video.
Yeah, it was more organized.
It's okay. If you go back on this channel and you watch our very first beer review video, it was like 34 minutes long.
We'll cut them down as we go, right?
Yeah.
We'll get a rhythm with this.
Uh-huh. All right, good stuff. Well, hey, another episode of Pints and Powerbombs here in the book. Thanks to Mr. Lau for joining us out of Eau Claire, hanging out with us on a late Sunday night. And we'll keep these coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.